Welcome back to the Professor's Lab. I'm Professor V, and this is top four of our League Cup that happened at Die Hard Games on March 29th, 2025. If you didn't know, Die Hard League happens every Thursday at 6 p.m. Central, featuring casual and tournament play of whatever format everyone wants. League Challenge, April 24th at 6 p.m. Central at Die Hard Games. Go see more info in this video's description and check out Pokemon's event locator for premiere and other events at the shop, such as League Challenges, League Cups, pre-releases, and more. Please hit that like button right quick, subscribe to this channel, ring the bell for notifications, say what you need to say in the comments, and all that other good free stuff. But anyways, let's research this game. On the left, we have Raging Bolt. On the right, we have Flareon. And it looks like our Flareon player is going first for us on the right-hand side. Yes, as they play a nest ball to search their deck for a basic Pokemon to put onto their bench. They find that Terra EVEX to put on the field. Next up, Fan Rotom in the active uses its Fan Call ability to search the deck for up to three colorless Pokemon with 100 HP or less. Looks like it was Double Hoot Hoot and Noctowl found off of that powerful Fan Call ability in the active spot. Maybe it was Double Noctowl Hoot Hoot. Either way, Ultra Ball is being used now to discard a couple of cards so that way the player can search their deck for a Pokemon, basic or evolution, to put into their hand. They consult their hand there to better inform their decision of grabbing a backup EVEX. This one could either be a Eevee or the EVEX with the Terra attribute, but I think you get the Terra one just in case one of your EVs is knocked out. You'll guarantee to have a Terra in play to make that Jewel Seeker Noctowl ability live, as a Fire Energy is attached to the EV, one of the EVEXs on the bench, and pass over to Raging Bolt on the left-hand side. Raging Bolt in the active spot, and Nest Ball of their own is played first, allowing them to search their deck for a basic Pokemon to put onto the bench. This also is the first opportunity to look through the deck and see what's in there, what is prized, to have a better game plan going forward. We're debating on the Teal Mask Ogerpon or the Latias. I think you've got to get your engine down in that Teal Mask Ogerpon EX with the powerful Teal Dance ability to accelerate energy into play and draw more cards. Second Teal Mask Ogerpon EX put into play now. Pokestop is a stadium that is established. That stadium has the player discard the top three cards of their deck, and they put any items discarded this way into their hand. And it looks like two items were hit, pretty good ones too, in the Night Stretcher and Nest Ball. Radiant Greninja getting discarded there, but you hit the Night Stretcher, so all is going according to plan so far for a Raging Bolt player as they play another Nest Ball, searching for another basic Pokemon to put onto the field. It will probably be the backup Raging Bolt EX. You'd like two of those on the field since Professor Sada's Vitality can accelerate to two ancient Pokemon. Plus, always good to have your backup attacker established most of the time in the Pokemon trading card game. As an Earthen Vessel is played next, discarding a Grass Energy to search the deck for up to two basic energy cards to put into the hand. Double Grass will be found here, since there are double Teal Dance on board, most likely. Also depends on just what's in hand, as Crispin is actually the supporter played for the turn, allowing the player to search their deck for up to two basic energy cards of different types, put one of them into your hand, and attach the other to a Pokemon in play. So, Fighting Energy added to the hand, Lightning Energy accelerated to that Raging Bolt in the active spot. And Teal Dance number 1 accelerates a Grass Energy to that Ogerpon, drawing a card. Teal Dance number 2 being used to do the same. Trekking Shoes now being played. Look at the top card of the deck. You can keep it or discard it and draw one more card. The first option was chosen there. Oh, and there is a Pokestop for next turn. There is a Prime Catcher, pink card, a spec in hand. Uh-oh. A Raging Bolt player can run away with the game very quickly here, in theory, as they play a Night Stretcher to bring back Radiant Greninja from the discard pile and put it onto the bench, and then use Concealed Cards, its ability, to discard an energy card and drawing two more cards. They're getting close to the combo here. EVEX only has 200 HP as an Earthen Vessel is played, discarding a card to search the deck for two more basic energy cards to add to the hand. Yeah, EVEX is definitely 200 HP. So a Bellowing Thunder for 210 will do the trick as the another Fighting and Lightning energy are put into the hand thanks to the Earthen Vessel. Energy attached per turn means I think they've got KO on the bench energized EVEX with that pink Prime Catcher right there. Attach a fighting energy to the active. Prime Catcher brings up the bench EVEX into the active spot. You have to move one of your bench Pokemon to the active spot as well as the Prime Catch player. So the Teal Mask Ogerpon with an energy attached put into the active spot as it can retreat. Energy retreated, discarded to pay retreat. I just started thinking here that if the player, I guess the player didn't know all along that they had this play, they were drawing cards with trekking shoes and such, Radiant Greninja as well, but maybe it would have been a little sweeter to start attaching to the bench Raging Bolt to save, to preserve an energy on board for next turn, but that's probably not correct. They probably didn't have access to it or know they would, and really the correct thing to do was to have been attaching to the active Pokemon. Just things I'd be thinking about in the professor's lab is all, as that Teal Mask Ogerpon retreats in back into that Raging Bolt EX, and Raging Bolt EX has the Bellowing Thunder attack for a lightning and fighting energy, 70 times the amount of basic energy you discard from your Pokemon in play. So we have 3 energy in play. 3 energy can be discarded. 3 times 7 is 21. 210 is more than enough to KO the opposing 200 HP EVEX. So the first 2 prize cards of the game on Raging Bolt's first turn. That's what they're supposed to do. How can Flareon respond as EVX moves into the active spot? EVX evolves into Flareon EX on the right-hand side here. Then Noctowl is evolved on the bench, activating its Jewel Seeker ability since there's a Terra Pokemon in play. That Flareon EX is a Terra Pokemon. Jewel Seeker allows the player to search the deck for 2 trainer cards to put into the hand. Thanks, Noctowl. As our player on the right, the Flareon player, looks through their decks for the best 2 trainer cards to add to the hand. Crispin to attack. Only Flareon's first attack can be used this turn, but that's probably okay as you see 0 energy across from you on board, but that Raging Bolt deck is made to flood the board with energy out of nowhere and take big KOs, but you got to do what you got to do, play to your outs as they find the Crispin and the Buddy Buddy Poffin off of that Jewel Seeker there. Next, Buddy Buddy Poffin is being played in order to search the deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less to put onto the bench. Probably an Eevee and a Hoot Hoot to keep things flowing here. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Or it looks that our player agrees as they find that Hoot Hoot and Eevee and add to the bench, eating up those Poffins there, getting ready for future turns. You got a backup attacker down and a backup bird, support bird for next turn. Next is Pokestop, discarding the top 3, discarding the Eevee and a Fez EX, finding an Ultra Ball. Either way, still cycling through the deck is usually good, and you kind of just got to get lucky off a Pokestop. Though decks are constructed around that stadium, you still have to get lucky probably. Anyways, Ultra Ball is played, discarding Boss's Orders and Grass Energy to search the deck for any Pokemon, basic or evolution. Another Eevee or another Hoot Hoot here for our player. I don't think you get the Noctowl preemptively, because then you would have just probably saved the Ultra Ball for the next turn to keep your options open. So yeah, they go for the Hoot Hoot here, establishing another support Pokemon so that way they can piece together bigger combos if needed. And now they play that Crispin supporter card that has them search their deck for two different basic energy types, put one into their hand, and accelerate the other to a Pokemon in play. Looks like one was accelerated and one was attached. You know, that's a shortcut there. Fire and water on the active Flareon EX, and we're probably seeing its first attack here. Burning Charge for fire and colorless, 130 damage. Search your deck for up to two basic energy cards, attach them to one of your Pokemon, shuffle your deck afterwards. So, all right, turn two for our Flareon player, but is it enough to keep up with the Raging Bolt? We'll have to find out here. The Raging Bolt player on the left-hand side starts their next turn. With a Pokestop, discard the top three. Oh, Professor Sada's and Bravery Charm discarded. Night Stretcher found, but they're looking for that Professor Sada's to play this turn for sure. So we're going to try with the Pokegear. Look at the top 7 cards of the deck. Put a supporter card you find there into your hand. Fail. Oh no. Let's see if they can find another Professor Sada's Vitality. They may even have one in hand already because they took 2 prizes. Excuse me. So Night Stretcher is played to bring back a grass energy from the discard pile to be teal danced onto Teal Mask Ogre EX, draw a card. That doesn't count as the energy attachment per turn. That is breaking the fundamental rules. Accelerating energy is always good in the Pokemon trading card game, it seems. Okay, Radiant Greninja discards a energy to draw 2 more cards, and they found that Professor Sada's Vitality off of that well-trained Greninja Radiant. Bravery Charm attached to the bench, Raging Bolt, giving it plus 50 HP. Much harder to one-shot now, as let's see, what does it have? Base is 23, right? 230, no, 240. 240 plus 50 is 290. So actually, Flareon EX's Carnelian that deals 280 damage can't even KO a charmed Rage, Raging Bolt. Bad matchup, maybe, as Professor Sada's Vitality now is being played to accelerate basic energy from the discard pile to 2 ancient Pokemon in play. Each Raging Bolt receives an energy here, and then Professor Sada's draws 3 cards after that. Next is Earthen Vessel, and they've got it here now, discarding a Ultra Ball to search the deck for up to 2 basic energy cards to put into the hand. Now a 4 energy discard, Bellowing Thunder will deal 280 damage. 2 grass found off of that Earthen Vessel added to the hand. Nest Ball is played next to bring another Teal Mask Ogerpon EX into play. We're going to accelerate more energy, draw more cards pretty soon as that Teal Mask is benched. Teal Mask number 2 used, accelerate energy, draw a card. Grass energy, of course, to the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX times 3 here. There's way more than enough energy in play to take the KO on the 270 HP Flareon EX with Bellowing Thunder. Remember, 70 times the amount of energy you discard from your Pokemon in play. I imagine they have the attachment, or are they missing the energy attachment here? I'm assuming they've got it this whole time. Need to attach a lightning energy to the active Raging Bolt EX. There is one in the discard pile, so Night Stretcher will work, but hopefully there's some in the deck as they have access to another Earthen Vessel, discarding a Nest Ball. And I'm not seeing it. Fail that Earthen Vessel. Did they miss here? Is this the opening the Flareon player needs? I think so. Yeah, that doesn't look like there's any way to get lightning energy in hand. That whole time I was getting excited for nothing. All right, let's see what our player does. Just a pass. Back to Flareon. Flareon player on the right plays a Terra Orb for the first action of their next sequence here, searching the deck for a Terra Pokemon to put into the hand. That Terra Orb is so powerful. They find Leafeon EX. Leafeon EX hits the hand, and then Noctowl evolves on the bench. There are Terra Pokemon in play, so Jewel Seeker is activated, allowing the player to search their deck for 2 trainer cards put into the hand. The KO is on board here with Flareon's first attack. So they find a Glass Trumpet and a Boss's Orders off of Jewel Seeker here. I think you want to KO the active, right? Either way, Glass Trumpet is used. Glass Trumpet, if there's a Terra Pokemon in play, choose 2 of your bench colorless Pokemon and attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to each of them. So 1 energy goes on to the very energized Eevee. Another energy goes on to Fan Rotom as a pivot if needed later. Boss's Orders now being played. Okay. And Boss brings up a Teomask Ogerpon EX. Okay. This is interesting here. For sure, you can't knock out the Bravery Charm one unless you had access to something like Lost Vacuum, which I'm not sure if they did or not. Um, you take out a support Pokemon and an energy, which is good if they're going for the KO, but I think I may have been happy with attacking and taking the KO on the active attacker plus energy. Either way, I'm just sitting in the professor's lab analyzing things. These players are actually boots on the ground battling it out here, so we'll see how this works out for them as oh, it's a fire type too. Okay. All right. So I like this a little more the more I think about it here. Flareon is a fire type. The Teal Mask Ogerpon EX is grass. So Flareon is actually able to take the KO on the grass type Teal Mask Ogerpon EX with its Burning Charge first attack. 130, search the deck for up to 2 basic energy cards and attach them to one of your Pokemon. So taking the KO while accelerating energy is always good, right? Energy accelerated to the active Flareon EX, fully powering up its colorful Carnelian attack here and hoping that this Raging Bolt can't get there this next turn, but they've already got so much energy in play over on the left. We'll see how it works out, like I said. Raging Bolt, damaged one, stomps into the active spot on the left-hand side, and play resumes there, here in this tied-up mid-game. Pheasantipity EX put into play. Flipped script is used to draw 3 cards since the opponent took a KO on their last turn. Professor Sada's Vitality secured, so we're seeing a KO this turn. First Pokestop, discard the top 3. Oh my gosh. Professor Sada's energy discarded. Energy retrieval found, so that's all right. That'll bring back from the discard pile 2 energy cards, 2 grass brought back, added to the hand. Now we're going to dance. Teo dance number 1, accelerate grass, draw a card. Teo dance number 2, accelerate grass, draw another card. Get all the options in hand before hitting this Professor Sada's Vitality, accelerating energy to the active Ancient and the Bent's Ancient Raging Bolt, fully powering both up and then drawing 3 cards that Professor Sada's Vitality did. All the options in the Raging Bolt player's hand. So much energy on board. Somebody calculate how much damage they're doing if they discard it all, but they only have to discard 4, remember. So now's the time to attack with Bellowing Thunder. Discard all the grass energy for 280 damage, more than enough to KO the Flareon EX for 2 more prize cards. Eevee glides into the active spot on the right and play resumes there, evolving into Flareon EX. I think that Carnelian attack is ready to go, but not needed this turn for the KO. First, a Pokestop. or next to Pokestop is used, discarding an Area Zero Under Depths and a Briar. Oh no, that Briar would have been sweet right here. Oh man, because Briar can only be played when the opponent has two remaining prize cards. If your Terra Pokemon takes a KO, you take an additional prize. Hmm. That would have been pretty good. Maybe not matter in the long run, I guess, because Raging Bolt likes to take two prize cards at a time. But still, drawing another prize card is better than drawing an extra prize card is better than drawing not an extra prize card, right? Most times. Either way, Terra Orb is found off of that Pokestop and added to the hand. Let's see. Terra Orb's not going to do you any good to play right now unless you just play it to thin your deck. So nothing else to do but attack with, I'm sure it was Burning Charge, choosing not to accelerate energy here. Technically, you are supposed to shuffle your deck even if you accelerate zero energy, but all I'm worried about is that the deck is random after everything, and it still is technically. So we'll just move forward with the game as our Raging Bolt player on the left starts their next turn. Can they take this KO here? With that, they've got it. Energy retrieval will just bring back two grass energy from the discard pile added to the hand. You can accelerate those two to each of the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX on the bench with their ability. You've got the four energy in play needed to discard with Bellowing Thunder for 280 damage. And game one, taken down by Raging Bolt EX. So here in Top Cut, it's a little different than Swiss matches. In Swiss, those are best of one rounds, 30 minutes each. Top Cut is best of three, 60 minutes. So the first player that gets to two wins, and the best of three wins the round and the Top Cut match. 1 point for Raging Bolt here as our players get ready for the next game. I'll go ahead and skip ahead a little bit, save some of our time here as the players are getting set up for this game two of top four. Players are ready to go here. Raging Bolt versus EVEX. Raging Bolt is going first on the left this time. The loser of the previous round in best of three gets to decide who goes first or second. So I imagine our Flareon player on the right chose to go second. Since you saw what happened in the last game, Raging Bolt went second. You can attack when you go second, and Raging Bolt is built to do that and get ahead and win the game that way. So they're going to try the approach of going second themselves, being able to attack, play a supporter, set up a little more. Most importantly, though, not allowing Raging Bolt to get ahead that far ahead in the game as they like to do. So our Raging Bolt player going first on the left, Raging Bolt in the active playing Nest Ball to find the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX to put onto the bench. Bravery Charm attached to the active Raging Bolt, and then Teal Dance, accelerating a grass energy on the bench, drawing a card with that Teal Mask Ogerpon. Trekking Shoes discards a Pokemon catcher in favor of keeping, or to see what they get with the next card. I didn't quite see. Either way, it's out of the hand as an Earthen Vessel is played next, discarding a Fighting Energy to search the deck for Fighting and Lightning. Fighting Energy in the discard pile is good to be accelerated with Professor Sada's later as they play another Earthen Vessel, discarding a Lightning Energy to search the deck for two more basic energy cards put into the hand. Of course, Lightning in the discard pile is good for the same reason the Fighting was. Those can be accelerated with that powerful Professor Sada's Vitality supporter, as Grass and Lightning are added to the hand off of the next Earthen Vessel there. Any other plays this turn? Energy attached to the active, and then a pass. Nest Ball is the first card played for our Flareon player on the right this time, allowing them to do a deck search and add a basic Pokemon to the bench. The Fan Rotom is already in play. I don't know how I feel about putting that Pheasantipity EX into play, as it's a potential liability and you don't need it right away. But either way, I'll trust in the players here as Nestball finds the Eevee, and then Buddy Buddy Poffin is played. Remember, that item allows them to search their deck for up to 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less. Double Hoot Hoot eats up the Buddy Poffin here, and then the Fan Rotom uses Fan Call to find just a Noctowl here. Terra Orb is played next to search the deck for a Terra Pokemon to put into your hand. And I think they just grabbed the one Noctowl off of the Fan Rotom just in case they get Iono. There's still plenty of Noctowl in deck. Now, energy attached to the active so it could retreat into the Fan Rotom, one prizer, and pass, forcing a Gust card out of the Raging Bolt player if they want to take 2 prize cards. So the Raging Bolt player benches a Latias with the Skyliner ability, giving all of their basic Pokemon free retreat. They bench a Sandy Shocks and then play a Professor Sada's Vitality. So Sandy Shocks is an ancient Pokemon that can be accelerated to by Professor Sada's Vitality. So that's all right. Then Professor Sada's Vitality will accelerate a basic energy from the discard pile to 2 ancient Pokemon in play, and then draw 3 cards. Okay, that's interesting that the fighting energy went to the bench, which I guess you can attack with the Sandy Shocks here, right? On this one prize or do the one prize exchange. We'll see how it works out. I won't think about it too much. Fighting energy to the bench Sandy Shocks, lightning energy to the active, Raging Bolt, draw 3 cards with that Professor Sada's. Raging Bolt number 2 found and put onto the bench. Now Teal Dance being used to accelerate energy to the Teal Mask Ogerpon and draw a card. Fighting energy found anyways. And attached to the active Raging Bolt, another Earthen Vessel. Is that all 4 of them now? Discarding a Ultra Ball to search the deck for 2 basic energy cards put into the hand. 2 grass found to continue to fuel these teal dances. And anything else to do but to knock out this poor Fan Rotom. Nope, knock out the Fan Rotom with Bellowing Thunder. First prize card taken, Eevee on the right moves to the active spot and play resumes there. It immediately evolves into Flareon EX. Noctowl immediately evolves on the bench. Terra Pokemon in play, so Jewel Seeker is activated. Searching the deck for 2 trainer cards to add to hand. And it's really not possible to KO this Raging Bolt, is it? So Prime Catcher will be found along with Crispin. Okay. Try and chase something on the bench. They can probably go for a Teal Mask KO again, right? So Crispin will search the deck for 2 energy cards. One gets added to the hand, and then one gets accelerated to a Pokemon in play. We're seeing shortcuts here as both of those energy go on to the active Flareon EX. Accelerated with Crispin and attached from hand. Fire and water energy to the active. Next is flip the script, drawing 3 cards with that Pheasantipity EX since the KO was taken. Flareon on the bench evolve, but yeah, see the issue with the Prime Catcher play is you would have to be able to retreat out of the active spot since you powered up this active Flareon EX. So potentially that it's probably all the luck of the cards. There could be some reworking of the sequencing here to have been able to power up a bench Flareon EX for the Prime Catcher play, and I didn't really pay attention to what exactly the state of the hand was that whole time, but just something to consider because our player would like to um, Prime Catcher KO a grass Pokemon on the other side with Flareon EX's first attack, Burning Charge, but Prime Catcher forces you to push a bench Pokemon to the active spot as well, and you got to get that out of the active spot. And currently, none of the bench Pokemon have free retreat. So unless they have a switch card or something else, that line of play is not going to work. But we'll see. We'll see how this works out for our player. I'm just spitting theory here. Our player eyes up their hand, trying to make a plan here. It looks like it's just a burning charge into the active. 130, accelerate a couple energy cards from your deck to your Pokemon. Eevee gets it on the bench. Not even threatening a two-shot yet, with burning charge at least on the 290 monster in front of Flareon, as our Raging Bolt player cuts the opponent's deck and gets ready for their next turn. Pokestop slammed into play and spun, discarding the top three. Oh my gosh, that was a Pokestop right there. 3 items hit and added to the hand. First item being played, Pokegear 3.0, finding Professor Sada's Vitality instantly off the top. You still do have to shuffle your deck, technically, even if you just saw that first card. I don't know, I guess it's still random under there, but either way, our player shuffles up the deck, attaches a Bravery Charm to the other, Raging Bolt on the bench, checks out their hand and gets ready for this Teal Dance here. Accelerating Grass Energy, drawing a card thanks to that Teal Mask Ogerpon EX. KO is on board here already. You probably just discard all 3 energy from the active and 1 from the bench at the current state. But nope, we're still rolling here with this Professor Sada's Vitality, accelerating a grass energy, just the 1 grass energy in deck to the bench, Ancient Raging Bolt EX, and drawing 3 cards. You could put another Teal Mask in play if you want to. It's not needed, but you could potentially be punished by putting more liabilities in play, but you already have tons of liabilities in play, so the player just wants to cycle through their deck here. Draw more cards. More cards is good, right? Teal Dance number 2. Accelerate an energy, draw a card. Okay, energy attach for turn to the bench Raging Bolt EX. This active one had 3 energy on it to start the turn, right? This was last turn. Yep. And Flareon attacked it. Yeah, it did. Sorry, guys. Just want to make sure everything's flowing here in the professor's lab today. Energy attached to the bench, Raging Bolt EX for future turn. And then nothing else to do but Bellowing Thunder, discarding 4 energy in play to take the KO on the opposing Flareon EX for 2 prize cards. Replacement Flareon EX runs into the active spot on the right-hand side, and play will resume there. Flareon must take the KO on this opposing Raging Bolt. So Ultra Ball discards a couple cards to search the deck for a Noctowl. Noctowl evolves on the bench. Jewel Seeker is live and activated since there's a Terra Pokemon in play to search the deck for 2 trainer cards to add to the hand. Iono, the comeback card, as card number 1. Remember, another Burning Charge will not take the KO, so you have to Carnelian here if you want the KO on the active. Nest Ball seems to be the other card off the Jewel Seeker. Nest Ball finds a Eevee that gets added to the bench. And then let's see if there's anything else before this Iono. There is the Crispin, but there is the Vessel as well. Ugh, that's a tough one right there. Earthen Vessel discards the Crispin, actually, to search the deck for a Water Energy to attach to the active and power up the colorful Carnelian attack. And yeah, you want to preserve that prime catcher for later, and you have to Iono here if you want to come back in this game in order to disrupt your opponent and slow them down on their next turn. Both players shuffle their hands, put them at the bottom of their deck, and then draw cards from the top equal to their remaining prize cards. 3 for our Raging Bolt player on the left, and 6 for our Iono player on the right. Then Pheasantipity EX uses Flip the Script to draw 3 cards since there was a KO on the opponent's last turn. Nest Ball is played now to search the deck for another basic Pokemon to put onto the bench. Backup Hoot Hoot, or Hoot Hoot for next turn, I say. Oh no, a fail, actually. Could be in the hand, could be in prize cards, or I just don't know what the counts of the decks are currently. Okay, at least you've got the Pheasantipity EX in play. So we're seeing a Carnelian, 180 or 280 damage during your next turn. This Pokemon can't attack. Raging Bolt stomps into the active spot on the left, and play will resume there. 3 prize cards to take, so the Raging Bolt player cannot close the game out on this turn, but they definitely want to KO this Flareon. If they do that, they leave the opponent with no Flareon in play on board. So Nest Ball will find a Pheasantipity EX to put onto the bench. There was a KO, so Flip the Script is live. Is that the next action here? It's either Pokestop or that. They're going to go for the Pokestop, discarding the top 3. Ugh, Professor Sada's Vitality discarded along with Grass Energy. 1 item found there. Now Flip the Script to draw 3 more cards. Trekking Shoes draws a card. They can keep it or discard it and draw 1 more. Man, if they would have flipped the script first, they would have found that Sada's. They keep the energy retrieval. Double energy retrieval being played now to bring back 4 energy cards from the discard pile to the hand. Each energy retrieval brings 2 back, of course. All right. So Fighting, Lightning, Double Grass added to hand here. Yeah, that's KO, right? Guaranteed. Teal Dance number 1, Accelerator Grass Energy, draw a card. Teal Dance number 2, do the same thing again with those Teal Mask Ogre Potty EX on the bench. Get those cards now while you can. All right, yep, KO's there with the attachment from hand to the active. Debating that Pokemon catcher, but you want to KO this active as they attach a fighting energy to the active and then Bellowing Thunder, discarding 4 energy cards from your Pokemon in play. 70 damage for each one discarded this way. 280 KOs the opposing Flareon EX. For 2 more prize cards, Noctowl flies into the active spot on the right. Play resumes there. Can our Flareon player claw their way back into this game? They bench a EVEX and then play a Glass Trumpet. Since there's a Terra Pokemon in play, then that EVEX, you can accelerate a basic energy from your discard pile to 2 of your colorless Pokemon on the bench. I think I got that right. I got to get used to that Glass Trumpet now. Just a fire being accelerated from the discard to the benched Eevee. You can build a Flareon again, but the best thing you could do is Burning Charge. Maybe you can take out a bench grass type with the Flareon, but now they evolved into that Leafeon EX, so that play is gone. I'm not even sure what Leafeon EX does right now. I'll look it up if it becomes relevant. As our player on the right looks through their hand and then decides Ultra Ball is the next play, discarding 2 cards to search their deck for any Pokemon, basic or evolution, looking for a way out here. And that Mew EX is found. The hand's pretty big though, so I'm not going to restart anytime soon, but thinning out of the deck is fine. Next is Pokestop. Okay, fire Pokestop there, hitting 3 item cards, one of them being that pink Prime Catcher. Area 0 Underdepths put into play, countering the Pokestop. The Area Zero Underdepth says if the player has a Terra type Pokemon in play, their new bench size is 8. So both players do. So both players' bench size is now 8 instead of 5. As our Flareon player in the right analyzes their hand. Next is Pheasantipity EX. Flip the script, draw 3 cards since the opponent took a KO on their last turn. Did they find a way out? As they take a good look at the board and try to determine their next best move. They really can't KO this active with that Bravery Charm and really no attacker to do so with. I'm not looking up the Flareon EX. Maybe I should be doing that, huh? I mean, excuse me, the Leafeon EX. As our player takes a look. Verdant Storm, Mossig Gate. Yeah, I guess that'd be a pretty good attacker here. Actually not. All right, the Leafeon EX, let's research this. Has the Verdant Storm attack, first attack for grass and colorless 60 times. This attack does 60 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. Yes, the Raging Bolt deck likes to get lots of energy in play, but they usually immediately discard it all with Bellowing Thunder, so Verdant Storm isn't effective, especially not right now. Mossa Gate is the second attack for Grass Fire and Water, 230, heal 100 damage from each of your bench Pokemon. Um, that could take a KO on a bench Pokemon if you get Prime Catcher Evolve, but you've got to get a Grass, Fire, and Water energy attached to that Leafeon EX, and I don't think that's possible right now, sadly. Nest Ball has the player look through their deck for a basic Pokemon to put onto the bench, but I think they're mostly doing this right now to just see what's in the deck and determine if they have a way to win. They don't see a way out, so they offer the concession. Raging Bolt now took 2 wins here in this round, in this top 4 round, declaring them the victor on this side of the bracket in top 4. What do you think of this video and the commentary? Please leave feedback in the comments. Like this video, subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching. Thank you to our players for letting their game be captured so we can all learn and enjoy. And I'll see you next time in the professor's lab.